Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is kindly sponsored by Pangaea, and in celebration of their new 100% sea fibre collection, Pangaea have challenged me to create a seaweed inspired dish. So I'll be sharing my recipe for tofu fish or tofish and 3 different ways in which you can use it. Pangaea are a material science company on a mission to save the environment. Their products are created with smart technology and use as many sustainable and recyclable elements as possible. I'm actually wearing one of the long sleeve t-shirts from the Sea Fibre collection, which are also high neck. It has such a super soft feel that just drapes over the body. It's more fluid and comfortable than regular cotton. And I'll be sharing a bit more about sea fibre throughout this video. So the first recipe is for a classic tofish and chips. To make the tofu fish, I first make a marinade for the tofu to inject as much flavour as possible, starting with seaweed. So here I blend half a nori seaweed sheet in a food processor into flakes. To that I then squeeze in around a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. I add in a tablespoon of chopped fresh dill, a teaspoon of chopped capers along with 1 teaspoon of the caper juice, 1 teaspoon of soy sauce and a good pinch of sea salt. Then I mix that together until well combined. I then take a block of regular firm tofu. Make sure this is well pressed if not already firm, and then I slice that in half lengthways and then in half again, so this makes 4 pieces of tofish. You can cut this to shape whichever way you like. I then place the tofu chunks in a dish and add the marinade on top, then coat each piece of tofu well in the marinade, turning them through to get them well coated on all sides. The nori seaweed in this marinade really gives that taste of the sea flavour, and combined with the other ingredients just packs as much flavour into the tofu as possible. Once they're all coated, I then place that in the fridge to marinate while I make the rest of the dish. But if you can leave it overnight to marinate, it's even better. I next make some minty mushy peas by adding 2 cups of frozen peas to a pan of boiling water, and I cook those for a few minutes. I then drain them off and add them to a mixing bowl, and to that I also add in a tablespoon of vegan butter, a tablespoon of chopped fresh mint leaves. I like to add lemon to mine, so I grate in the zest of half a lemon and squeeze in around a tablespoon of lemon juice, then season well with sea salt and a crack of black pepper. I like to use a potato masher to mash this up. I only mash it slightly because I like to leave it kind of chunky as well. And I like it served with some more fresh mint, but until then I just keep that in the fridge. I make some tartare sauce too, because what is fish and chips without mushy peas and tartare sauce? So for this I add 1 finely minced gherkin to half a cup of vegan mayonnaise, along with 2 tablespoons of chopped fresh dill, a teaspoon of finely chopped capers, a teaspoon of lemon zest and a teaspoon of the lemon juice, then a good pinch of sea salt and black pepper, and I mix that through until well combined. Again, this can be stored in the fridge until ready to serve. Then for the chips, I take around 2 to 3 medium-sized white potatoes per person. I wash and peel them, then cut them up into chunky chips. I then fill a large pan with water and bring that to a boil. Add in a good pinch of sea salt and then place the chips into parboil for around 2 to 3 minutes. I then drain off the water and keeping the potatoes in the pan, I then drizzle in around a tablespoon of olive oil, place the lid back on the pan and give it a really good shake to get all of the chips evenly coated. I then tip the chips out onto a non-stick baking tray. I sprinkle over a good pinch of sea salt, even them all out, and then they go in the oven to bake for around 25 to 30 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, and I give them a good turn over and shuffle halfway through. Then back to the tofish, I make a batter. So for this I take half a cup of plain flour, half a cup of corn flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, a good pinch of salt, and then a little sprinkle of ground white pepper. I then just combine that all together with a fork or whisk until smooth. Then I pour in 3/4 of a cup of a light lager. Make sure yours is vegan friendly. This obviously gives it that authentic traditional beer batter taste, but if you didn't want to use alcohol, you could use sparkling water instead. Again, I just mix that through to combine everything until a smooth batter forms. And that's a basic beer batter, but to make it an even better batter, I add in 2 tablespoons of chopped fresh dill and mix that through. The nori seaweed in this dish really makes it. It adds that fish-like flavour, so it really is one of the main ingredients, which is why I decided to share this recipe when Pangaya challenged me to create a seaweed-inspired dish. Sea fibre is made from organic algae that comes from regenerative sources and is gently harvested. It's FSC certified cellulose and 95% of it comes from eucalyptus. All products are also treated with peppermint oil, which has natural antibacterial properties. This neutralises and prevents the growth of odour-causing bacteria, which means garments don't need to be washed after every use. This is a common misconception, saving water and energy and reducing the amount of chemicals from washing detergents entering waterways. As well as that, all liquids and water used during the process of the items being made are recycled and reused, and all fibres and leftover waste are fully biodegradable. I take a nori seaweed sheet and I just roughly cut it up into the same shapes as the tofu chunks, and then I place those on top of each one. As I said, this is what gives it the flavour, but also when it's fried, it looks like crispy fish skin, so it has the look and the feel to it too. I usually just sprinkle a little lemon juice over each one to help it stick to the tofu and then press them down evenly. I then take each piece of tofu at a time and place it in the batter. Then get it well coated. Meanwhile, I have a pan shallow filled with oil, either rapeseed or vegetable, coming to a boil. It's ready when bubbles form at the tip of a wooden spoon when it's dipped in. And obviously this is very hot oil, so this needs to be done very carefully. So I take the battered tofu one at a time and place it in to fry. It should only take a couple of minutes until it's nice and golden in colour. Again, be careful as the oil may spit, and it's important to only shallow fill the pan and fry one at a time so that it doesn't become overcrowded and spill over. I don't use disposable kitchen paper anymore, so I just take a clean old kitchen towel on a wire cooling rack and I place the tofu on there once it's done to soak up any excess oil. I then just repeat that with the rest of the tofu until they're all done. After around 30 minutes, the chips should be cooked. Parboiling them first just ensures they're kept soft and fluffy in the middle, and then baking them gives a crispy skin on the outside. Like when you do roast potatoes, they're just the perfect texture. I serve the chips with the Tofish, then some mushy peas and some of the tartare, along with a little wedge of lemon. This is a great one to try on non-vegan friends and family. I guarantee they will love it. And why not when it's the same dish, just leaving fish off your plate? As I mentioned, Pangaya are a brand who care about the environment and about our planet, and they're passionate about designing a better future. So this for me is one of my favourite traditional non-vegan dishes made vegan. And it's not only so much better in taste, but it's also better for the environment. I also like adding on some pickled samphire. I just boil the samphire, and then once it's cool, I pickle it in a little apple cider vinegar. It just adds some tang and freshness. The texture and the taste of the tofish is amazing. Back to that marinade, which is what it's all about. It really injects so much flavour into the tofu. The batter around it is light yet crisp. The chips are fluffy. The minty mushy peas again add an element of freshness, and the tangy tartar sauce just helps bring everything together. Another great way to use the Tofish is in a burger as like a vegan fillet of fish. I like mine with some shredded lettuce and some thinly sliced tomato, and to me it's best in a brioche bun. Make sure your brioche bun is vegan. There are a few vegan options out there now, but some brioche bread can contain milk or eggs. I like to lightly toast it so it's ever so slightly crispy, and then I take some more of my homemade tartar sauce and spread that on the base of the bun. I then add on some of the shredded lettuce and sliced tomatoes before placing on the Tofish fillet. This time I'd made it into more of a square shape to fit the bun. I also added on some really thinly sliced gherkins, and then I spread some more of the tartare on the lid of the bun. Fish burgers were probably my favourite kind of burger before I went vegan. So this is a recipe I've wanted to share for a long time because it really is a banging vegan alternative. Again, you would not know the difference when it comes to the taste. All of those flavours, particularly from the seaweed, along with that amazing tangy tartar sauce, the crisp gherkins, the fresh lettuce and tomato in a soft yet slightly crisp brioche bun. It's just absolutely incredible. And then finally, a third way in which you can use the tofu fish is for crispy Tofish tacos, my personal favourite. For the tomato and onion topping, I just took 8 baby plum tomatoes and finely chopped those up. I remove the seeds as I go. I find these are just best removed. Then I place those in a bowl, and then I take half a red onion and finely dice that up. I add that to the bowl along with the zest of half a lime and around a teaspoon of lime juice. Then season it with some salt and pepper, and I just then mix that all together to combine it. You can use whatever you like in these tacos, but I'll show you some of my favourite fillings for them. I first take my soft corn tortillas. I warm these slightly first, and then I place in a handful of mixed leaf salad, followed by some of my homemade pickled cabbage. This is just finely shredded red cabbage, and I pickle it in equal parts red wine vinegar and water, enough to cover it, with a pinch of sea salt as well, and it can be stored in the fridge for up to 2 weeks. I love the vibrant colour of it, so that goes on next, followed by a Tofish fillet. Again, these can be made slightly smaller to fit. I add a slice of avocado on top, and then I drizzle over some sriracha mayo. This one is vegan friendly. It's unbelievable if you haven't tried it, but you can also make your own with some vegan mayo and regular sriracha mixed together. I top it with some of that tomato and red onion mixture, followed by some chopped fresh coriander. Just for serving purposes, you can add some lime wedges on the sides, and as a last step, I like to also sprinkle over some dried chili flakes for an extra kick of heat. The flavours in these tacos, they are just unreal. That light, crispy tofu fish with fresh salad leaves, the crunch from that sharp pickled red cabbage, the buttery avocado, the slightly spicy sriracha mayo, topped with that fresh tomato, red onion and coriander. It's such a flavour party in your mouth. I also love some fresh lime squeezed over the top, but these really are next level, so good. That's it for the recipes. You can shop Pangaya and their sea fibre collection in the link in the description box below. These are great quality pieces, not made for a season, but for a reason. Are intended to last, and for every product sold, Pangaya pledges to plant, protect or restore 1 tree. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you loved it, and I will see you again soon. Bye!